Hello, this is Dimitri with Ukidz LLC, UGears US and UKidstoys.com. Today we're going to be assembling another Dino model. It's a Triceratops by UGears. 400 pieces. As always, no glue required. Everything is included in the box. Newer style box. That's about 8 hours of assembly, advanced level. Just because there's a lot of parts and you need to pay a lot of attention to it. So let's go ahead and start with the opening. I already pre-opened the box a little bit for another video, which will come as a surprise, I guess, at some point in time. So this one's already open. So let's take out the box and see what's inside. All right, inside we have 1, 2, 3, 4.5 plates, which is kind of small. We do have an instructions manual. And we do have a little envelope. I'm gonna put this box on the side. We have a little envelope with spring, sandpaper, which we're gonna put on the side because I have a lot of it, and a stick. So those are the main components. I do have another stick from another assembly, so I'm gonna use that one up first. And we're gonna put the spring on the side just temporarily in the box until we're ready to get to it. All right, let's start with the manual. As always, simple instructions. Carefully remove everything from the board. Try not to break the parts. Self-assembly, no glue. If you have difficulty installing something, just wax it a little bit. And all the moving parts do need to be waxed. Do not burn the candle or candle wax. And on page number 3, we have some symbols that we go through in the manual. Exclamation point obviously means that you need to pay attention to the assembly. Sandpaper, that you need to sand the part or parts. If you see this little symbol, that's a tea light candle, just like this one, with a little gear and toothpick. That means you need to wax. Then you see a little gear assembly with 2 arrows, meaning that you do need to make sure that the mechanism is moving, the gears are engaging, and everything is operating the way it needs to be. And then a little fan with arrows. That means that it needs to be freely moving around its axis, or not unnecessary axis. Most of the time it is just, but it has to be freely moving component in the assembly. Here is the list of spare parts, just in case if you break one. They are available throughout the boards. It has a little plus symbol right next to them. Shows right here as an example. And right here on the board, right on the first one, we have a couple pluses here. So those are spare parts. They're not the components that you missed. So before contacting us or the manufacturer, those you can check it on the board. Check on this sheet to see if it's available. Get it from the board if it is, and if not, then you can contact us or the manufacturer for the replacement parts. Also, there is a helping tool on board number 1. It is on the right hand side, right in the middle here. You can pull it out right away. I have a couple spares here from other assemblies, so that's the tool we can use to help us push the parts out, snap the parts together, clean off the burrs, and so on, and insert some parts. There's like a little holder spot right here, cut out. All right, let's move to page number 4. And the first assembly is part number 1, and part number 2 and 3. We need 6 number 2s and 1 number 3. All right, so part number 1 right at the center here. Push it out. Part number 2's right on the right hand side of the board, a little bit above the center line or middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then part number 3 is in the top right corner. It's a little slim part. There's a spare component right away, spare part. So push that out. You can use your helping tool to get it out. And so part number 3 is gonna go right in the smaller hole here. That's nice and easy, very visible, and all the rest parts gonna go all around into the 6 corresponding holes that are on the part number 1. There is no directionality to these parts, so you just insert whichever way you up or down, doesn't matter. and just insert them all around. All right, once you have that ready, now we need our spring, so that extra cardboard can go into the garbage right away. So with the spring, make sure this little lip, it's facing counterclockwise direction, and that's the way you're gonna set it over this circle, right? And then the step number 3, where it needs to come out, the spring needs to come out in between part number 3 and 2 to the left. So it has to go right in here. So we place the spring right inside. You can either tie it up a little bit and have, or unwind it a little bit and have this little spring come out right in between these 2 parts. Hold on, let's squeeze it a little bit. Here you go. I probably should unwind it a little bit rather than winding it. Here you go. And just make sure the rest of it is inside these little parts. All right, here you go. So as you can see, the spring unwinds this way, comes out in between part number 3 and part number 2, and then the lip is facing counterclockwise direction. So that's the whole idea here. So make sure that once it comes out, it doesn't come back in and it stays outside. All right, so next is step number 3. We need part number 4, which is right below, right at the center, below the middle. And make sure you wax all the little gears that are there, gear teeth. As you go around, make sure you get both directions. And then there could be a little bit of burrs. So we just need to go around and remove those from in between the teeth. So I see one right here. Those are connection points, and usually there's some material that could stay there. Now you just need to line up, make sure you line up the little part number 3 tab. And I'll probably start with number 3 to make sure that I get it inserted. And then once I get number 3, we can go all around and snap all the other parts. And once again, you can put a little bit of wax on all of them, so they're will be easier to snap together. All right. And then you can use your helping tool to slightly move the part to get it into the hole. And as you get them in the hole, just snap it in and make sure it locks nice and clean. So these need to be flat with the surface. And once again, in between, double check, make sure your spring comes out in between 3 and 2 on the left hand side. Go around and lock the parts in. Clean up the surface a little bit. Let's move on. That's our A1. We're gonna put it on the side right now. Step number 1 on the bottom of page number 4. We need parts number 5, 2 of them. As you can see, there's 2 parts now, 2 number 5. So they're right in the middle on the right hand side. Part number 6, it's in the middle on the left hand side, and part number 7, let's see, which is going to be right at the center at the top here. So there's just one for now. Number 7 does need to be waxed, so wax it all around. And then part number 6 also needs to be waxed all around. These are going to be moving components inside the axles or inside the holes, so you need to make sure that they are nice and waxed. All right, so let's put number 6 on first, and then it has to go all the way to the little step that is on there. It snaps in, and then we're gonna go from below. Let's see, the teeth need to face clockwise direction, and then we're gonna insert from the top. We can insert part number 5 into there, and it needs to go all the way down to 6. And then from the bottom, we're gonna take our A1, and it's gonna go from the bottom. We're gonna go through. So you need to split part number 5 a little bit, and they need to go through the spring. So you need to work it in a little bit. Go all the way in until part number 6 is inside the hole. So, and these two split off a little bit, so you just need to make sure that you will snap them together, and that's why in the next step we're gonna put part number 6 and 7 again. So part number 6 is a little below the middle on the left hand side, and part number 7 is a top left quadrant. So same thing, part number 7 need a little bit of a wax on there. And part number 6, we do need wax out on the outside. And I want to say a little bit on the inside just to make sure that we can snap it all the way in. So we insert it over parts number 5, and we're going to go all the way down until it snaps onto part number 5. And then part number 7 on the top, and the same way. If you're looking from the top, the teeth need to face the clockwise direction. So, and then we push it all the way down to the surface and lock it in. And so the teeth face the same direction on the top and on the bottom. And now what we need to do is we need to rotate counterclockwise direction to wind the spring. And then as you rotate it, the spring's gonna go inside. So it's gonna try to unwind itself. So you need to hold it from the bottom with kind of both hands, both fingers, other tools to not let it unwind. And then as you get it, this little piece is gonna get to part number 3, and we'll need to put it onto part number 3 right here. It kind of locks itself in a little bit. Hold it to make sure it doesn't, well, it can unwind a little bit, and then we just push it in with our helping tool. Make sure it goes right onto part number 3, and part number 3 is kind of sitting on that lip. Push it as far as you can, just to make sure it stays. So now the spring's not gonna go anywhere, and that's our part A. Alrighty. Let's move on to page number 5. We're gonna put part number A on the side, and we need part number 8 and 9. They're bottom left side of board number 1. And then just insert as kind of like a fork, one fork into another, and make sure it goes all the way in until it creates a nice little shape like this. Step number 2, we need parts number 10 and 11. 10 is a little below the middle on the left, and 11 is on the little below the middle on the right. And so both of these need to be waxed. Once again, all the moving components, any gear that you see, a lot of the cylindrical parts or washers, they need to be waxed because normally they're within some kind of surface that they need to be moving around. And then make sure there's little burrs. Make sure we remove these little burrs. They will prevent from easily moving the mechanism. All right, and then let's see. So part number 9 is on the top. These little steps, they're gonna be towards the top. So that's part number 11 is gonna go from the top. Part number 10 is gonna go from the bottom. And make sure this little lip facing in the counterclockwise direction. And then we push it in as far as it can go, right onto this little sub-assembly. and part number 11 gonna go from the top all the way to these to the little step. And now in step number 3, we're just gonna lock it up with 2 parts number 12. They're on the left hand side, a little bit below the middle, and both of these outside need to be waxed. And then these gonna lock the number 11 and number 10 from both sides. And that gives us part number B1 or subassembly B1. I'm gonna put it on the side for a little bit. Let's see, step number 1 on the bottom left. We need parts number 13 and 14. They're bottom left of the board number 1. So 14 from the top. Once again, insert them as much as they can. Little tabs with the cut through, they're gonna stick out a little bit. And then parts number 17, 15, and 16, all of them waxed. And 15 is bottom left, 16 is a little bit lower to the left of it. And part number 17, there's the right bottom left of the center and top right of the center. Using my helping tool, let's remove the burrs that are on part number 16. I don't see any on 17, and then once again, same thing, like with all the gears, we are waxing these parts. Pretty cool model to assemble by yourself or with your kid, or kid by himself. These are 14 plus. I want to say 14 is just because of the European standards. If it was just the US market, probably would have been 12 plus. Because they are complex and small parts, and it's a new category of kidults. All right, so this is assembled. Part number 15 is going to go on the bottom. As far as it can go, and then part number 17, lock it up. And part number 16 is going to go from the top as far as it can go. And also 17 is on the top to lock it in. And we have B2, just like on the picture. Nice little sub-assembly. Step number 1, right at the bottom, center bottom, or to the right of the center on the bottom of the page. Parts number 18 and 19, they're on the right hand side. Below the middle. And then we need part number 20, also in the same location, and part number 21 right next to it. Same thing, 21 and 20 need to be waxed. And then once you've done that, then we can do the assembly. And part number 20 needs to be waxed. All the teeth, gear teeth, cover it up with the lubricant. All right. So there's a longer extension. That longer extension is going to be on the bottom. That's where part number 20 is going to go into. All the way to that little surface. And then part number 21 is next. And then step number 2, we'll need to do part number 20, 223s and 22. Also bottom right, 22 and 23s right next to it. So 23s, because the connection points are within the dips, just wax them is fine. You can sand them just to give it a little bit more movement, initial movement. Once again, I'm the kind of guy that likes to work in the models rather than send the parts. So for the sanding, I'm using my little precision file tool. You can use the sandpaper provided, either or, doesn't matter. You're just trying to remove all these connection points because they are creating or will create a lot of friction, and you want to get rid of it as much as possible. So I'm going to wax this little part also, and then one part number 23 is going to go from the bottom, 22 is going to go from the top, as far as it can go. And lock it up with the 23. All right, and that's our B3. Moving on to page number 6. A couple more sub-assemblies. On here, top left, step number 1, board number 2425. We're still on board number 1. 2425, they're bottom right. Need part number 17, also bottom right here. Just one for now. You'll need the second one a little bit later. And part number 20, bottom right. Might as well pull out number 26 a little bit to the right of the center line on the bottom. And part number 17, one more on the right hand side. These are you need for 3 steps. Right, so let's wax all these little gears. And parts number 17. These little fans or fan looking gears, you'll create some dinosaur noise, roaring sound, I guess, a little clicking, roaring. Alrighty, everything is waxed. 24 is the one with the hole, that's one on the top. Let's see, we're gonna go into the part number 20 on the bottom and lock it up with part number 17, and that's step 2. And step 3, 2 parts number 26, and then make sure your teeth are facing clockwise direction. As far as it can go. And then the second one right over it, same thing, make sure the teeth are facing, so it kind of creates a double fan blade. And then lock it up with part number 17, that creates our B4. Put it on the side. And then the next part, step number 1 to the right of the center at the top, need part number 27, 28, and 29. Bottom right is 27. Let's see, 28 will be bottom right, and then 29 is on the left hand side all the way at the edge there. All right, so 29 is gonna go, let's see, we're gonna have this little opening, little tooth to the right and facing kind of away. 29 is gonna go from the top into the hole that is closest to you. And then 27 is going to go from the bottom with this little 2 tabs to on the right hand side, and then single tab's going to go through the hole all the way in until it sticks out from the other side, from the bottom. Step number 2, we need parts number 17, 2 of them. They're at the bottom here, to a little bit to the right of the center. And then parts number 30 on the bottom right. And same thing, 17 needs to be waxed. In step number 2, both of those. And then part number 30 is going to go over, make sure the shape is matching the part number 28 that we already installed. It's going to go through all these little tabs. And then the second one, same thing. And then part number 17 on the top. locking it in, and part number 17 on the bottom, locking it in. And then we need to wax this little tooth, I guess, and the opposite end of it. Just apply a little bit of wax. All right. And actually it does say that you need to sand it a little bit, make sure that it's nice and smooth connection, and then wax it up. All right, put it aside. Step number 1 on the bottom left, we need part number 31, 32, 33, and 34. 31, let's see where it's 31 is. Right at the center, a little bit to the right of the center. Part number 32, right next to it, right at the center line. And then 33 and 4, they're a little bit right at the center, below the middle, and to the left a little bit. Alrighty, so let's see, with the thicker portion away and the arch facing towards the right hand side, 32 is going to go in a hole that is closest to you from the top. And then 33 and 34, 34 is right here. 33 is, no, 34 is on the right hand. It's going to go into the 33 and then through that little X hole. And then step number 2, we need parts number 23, 2 of them. They're to the right of the center, all the way at the bottom. And we're just going to wax it all around. And they're going to go from the top and from the bottom onto this little subassembly of 33 and 34. And that's our B6. And step number 1 on the bottom to the right of the center. We need parts number 35, 36, and 37s, 2 37s. So I'm still on the bottom here. 36 is on the bottom left. 37 is bottom left also, and same as 36. So there's 2 37s and 1 36. And then we need to wax both of the 37s. And we need to wax the little part number 36, that round off little needle with a round point. All right, and then 30, let's see, with the start facing towards the top and little notches away from you, the arrow pointing towards. 35 is going to go from the bottom into this little rectangular hole, as far as it can go, and 37 is going to go on the ends of this part number 35 on both ends, from the top and from the bottom. And that's our B7. Moving on to page number 7. Step number 1 on the left hand side, we need from board number 2, part number, what's the large one? 38, that's right at the center here on the right hand side. Carefully remove it. We need parts number 39, which is going to be to the left, a little bit below the middle. It says stop on there. And then 2 parts number 40. They are right at the top right. And part number 41, which is all the way at the corner there in the top right. All right, so now with this little tab facing away and to the right, 41 is going to go into these 2 holes on the right hand side. They're second from the right. And that with a little stab that is inside, or wave towards the bottom. So we're just going to insert it from our end. Parts number 40 is going to go with these double tap on towards the left into this set of 4 holes on the left hand side. So, but we need to put that stop button, stop lever first, wax this little tangle here, insert it into here, and then push parts number 40 in. Locking it in. As far as it can go. All right, and then step number 2, we need to make sure this moves up and down. So there's movement, and almost unrestricted. With that little tab will restrict it slightly, but it does need to go up and down. Add a little wax if it doesn't come out nice and easy. And then we need to put a B7, this little thing with the start. Start's gonna face away from you, and it's gonna go into this little hole, locking the little needle into the hole or opening of that little part number 39. So it'd be moving up and down, and start would be moving up and down also. Okay, and in the similar sequence, and then step number 3 on page number 7, we need B4. That's the little one with the fan. This one's gonna go into the circle with the let's see, there's a set of 3, so the smaller one second from the bottom, with the fans towards the board, and they will be facing counterclockwise direction. And then our sub-assembly A with the gear towards the bottom, it's gonna go right into this opening right here, with these little teeth locking onto the tabs. So I just need to make sure that it's flush, and you're good to go. Moving on to the page number 8. Next one is B2. That's the one, let's see, that's the one with the 2 gears, one larger, one smaller. Smaller gears towards the board, and it's going to go into this little round hole right in the center with the circle around it, or like partial circle. And then your gears not interlocking with anything, so just freely moving. And then the B3, that's the one with the 2 gears connected together. That's going to go to the hole right next to it on the left hand side, locking with the with these gears. So probably underneath. No, it should be over. This one, okay, so the gear is not sitting all the way in. Need to make sure that it does. Otherwise, they will not work. All right, let's put everything back in. Gears towards the bottom. This guy's back into its place, interlocking with this little gear. And then this part number, or sub-assembly B7. All right, and we got 2 more, or 3 more. B1, and that's with the little that twist. That's gonna go into the hole on the left. Sorry, on the right. This larger one. Locking with the gear, main gear mechanism. And the gear on this one, bottom gear on the B2. And then little B6, let's see. With this little tab towards you, it's gonna go into the hole right next to it, just like this. Let me put number B7, I guess, or whatever it was. Yeah, B7 into here. All right, so we got everything, almost everything is in here. B1, B2, B3, B4, B6, B7, and then the only thing is missing is B5, right? Yeah, B5 is sitting right here. It's not part of this. All right, so we got everything what we need. Everything is interlocking. This one interlocks, the ones two in the bottom there. Start, stop, and this guy here. All right. Next step. Let's make sure B5 doesn't go anywhere. B7, B4, B2, B3, B6, B1. All right, now we need to lock it up in page number 9 and step number 6 with the part number 42, which is the top left corner of board number 2. And we do need to send the surfaces a little bit from inside. So this little tap in the same direction as the other guy. And then just use the paper, sandpaper, to give it a sand on the surface on inside. Make it nice and smooth, and push it over all these little washers that are sticking out. Make sure nothing falls out, like in my case. If it does, put it back in place. And let's see. Have to start from scratch again. Made a little mistake that I was pressing on it, so like all these gears on the bottom kind of fell off the place, because there's that number 5s are sticking out. One more try. Make sure everything lines up as you lock it in. All right, everything in its place on both sides. And these guys are locked in. This one's locked in. A little crooked, so we need to push it in with our helping tool. Alrighty, everything is in. And then step number 7, we need parts number 43, 6 of them, top right corner. 3 from the right hand side and 3 from the left hand side. Let's see, make sure the arrows are facing clockwise direction. From in the same direction as counterclockwise on the opposite end. So technically the same. As you look at them, they're facing the same direction. All right, step number 9 complete. And then step number, page number 9 complete. Page number 10. Step number H2, I guess it's a helping tool or key, winding key. They're on board number 1, bottom left, 2 parts number 45, part number 46 and 44. So 45 is going to go into 44 with the thicker portion, and that's where our helping tool is very helping, because you can kind of grab that smaller portion of it with this little opening, just like this, into it, and then line it up, push it in, and then part number 45 or 46 gonna go over these, making it a little key. All right, and now we take our sub-assembly, we press the stop button, and then we wind up 5 to 7 times, about make sure it's facing the right direction, wind up the same direction that the arrows are pointing. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Take it out, excuse me, and then we need to press start and help the movement a little bit with your fingers to let it run and the gears work themselves in. So this needs to go this way, the same direction as it's pointing when these steps are away from you. And then let's see, I had a little bit of a success. Just need to work in the gears until they start working. We'll need to play around with it a little bit. There we go. Play around and see which gear moves which way, and make sure you just push it to unwind this way, the same way. A little bit of a movement. There you go. Lots of friction here. Come on. There you go. Completely unwound. Same thing. Repeat it a few times. Make sure it operates as designed. Take the key out. Start. There we go. Stop. Let's do it again. All right. I'll do 2 more times. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just to make sure that it unwinds nice and clean. All right, everything works. And we're just gonna leave it at that, and the key can go right into these two little tabs, locking it in like this. All right, we're done with page number 10. Moving on to the page number 11, and now we need to insert that B5, about time. All right, so that's gonna go into the two holes, let's see, right here with the little circles around. And let's see, we need to make sure this little tooth is going to go towards the top. Spread it up a little bit, tiny bit, and push it in until it gets right into the place, and snap it back in. All right, now step or part number B, same thing, press the stop. Where's my key? Wind up 8 to 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Press the start, and then let this little B5 back and forth, kind of like a pendulum, to help it unwind the mechanism. So you hear a little clicking sound, and it unwinds as I'm clicking it. I'm moving it back and forth, and pretty much that's what you need to do until it's going to start moving on its own. So develop the mechanism by helping the gear of node A and pushing the pendulum node B5 simultaneously. So you can push the gear a little bit. In my case, it's moving freely, so I don't really need to push it. So I just need to play with this little pendulum until it does it on its own. Until the wax kind of settles in. And we're going to continue playing with it for a few moments. So, but the mechanism needs to unwind on its own without any help. So, and at some point of time, you'll feel that that little pendulum's going to want to move on its own. And you need to let it move and then help it a little bit more until we get it into the nice dynamic here. Here we go. All right, let's wind it up a little bit more, just to get it nice and tight. And once again, you need to make sure that the mechanism moves on its own without your help altogether. So, as of right now, I'm still helping it, so it's until it stops. And you guys can fast forward if you completed the step, obviously. finger hurts a little. I'm gonna move on to the other hand. I feel it, it's almost there. So let's do another run. Stop. Go. Come on. Looks like you do need to go like 4 or 5 times through this, but once again, you need to make sure that the unwinding happens on its own without your help. Otherwise, that's gonna stutter the mechanism once you get to the full assembly, right? Because there's gonna be a lot of moving components. So you wanna do this pretty much at every single stage. We have completed one. All right, let's do a few more times. Oh, that's much better. Yeah, and I want to say maybe like another 1 or 2 times until it unwinds on its own all the way. One more time. That was almost. I hear it. There was a little bit of a hesitation in the beginning, so let's do it one more time. I want to say one more time because once again, hesitation. You don't want that at all. Oh, much better. Since it's almost all the way, I want to finish it up and make sure that it works all the way through. Still a little stutter. shouldn't do it. One more, just to be on the safe side. And one more. Want to make sure there's no solder whatsoever. There you go. This is what you're looking for. Once again, make sure that it unwinds almost all the way to the end. It will eventually, the more you play with it. So, but as long as there's no stutter, that's what you're looking for. All right, let's move on to the page number 12. We need, let's see, not to lose the key. I'm gonna put it where it's supposed to be temporarily. Step number 1 on the left hand side, we need parts number 23, 47, 48, and 17. They're on board number 2. So let's see, board 48 is right at the center here. 47 is a little bit to the right of it. Fragile part, so careful with that. 23 is going to be on the bottom left, and 17 is going to be right at the center on the left hand side. There are 2 of them, so 17 needs to be waxed for sure, and maybe sanded. 23, same thing. And of course the gear on part number 48. It's a weird looking gear, and just creates a movement, leg movement mechanism. All right, let's see. L4 needs to face you. Part number 3, I mean, not away, but L4 should be on the left. 1 should be on, L4 on the right, 1 on the left, 3 top to the top right. And then 47 is going to go from the front with a little step towards the right hand side. And insert it all the way. Make sure you don't press on the forks. And then part number 23 is going to go over that all the way to the end of this little fork. And then 17 on the back. Locking it in. It's going to create our C1. And then step number 1 on the bottom there on the left hand side, we need part number 49. That's, let's see, 49 and 2 50s. 49 is on the right hand side. And 50s are, let's see, on the left, bottom left. All right, and then 50 needs to go into left and right hand side of this part number 49. Little openings, so kind of like a little forks. Step number 1, to the right of the center, take our sub-assembly. I'm going to take the key out, and then that part that we just created is going to go all the way towards, I'm going to turn it around, it's going to go towards the back into this larger slot opening. And you want to make sure that these guys are pushed in all the way in. So once you insert it, is it just going to sit on there, or is it needs flush? And make sure as you insert it, make sure this thing sits down, not up like this, but down on the gear. That's when we insert part number 51 from the top, and part number 51 on the left hand side, a little bit below the middle there. And I kept on forgetting to check, make sure we're recording, so that's good. So it's gonna snap into these little openings on here. Once again, make sure this little handle is down. And should stay in there. And then part number 52, that's a little below the middle, I guess maybe right at the center line. That's gonna go from the bottom into this opening here, and it needs to snap into these two, not snap, but like stay in there, right? As you apply a little bit of a pressure. And then step number 2, let's see, we're gonna look, so the start is facing you to the right. Part number C1 that we just assembled will go into the hole on the left here, with 3 kind of facing towards top right, just like this. And then we need part number 53, which is to the left of the center line, also waxed all around. It's going to go over this sub-assembly that is sticking out from the body, and make sure the 3 is facing you, and it's going to interlock with the 3 that is on this little gear. As you insert it, 3 are matching up. And then part number 54 on board number 2, bottom left. That's going to go over that whole sub-assembly with this hole locking onto this tab and this tab and this. And we're going to need to push it as far as it can go, slowly applying the pressure at different ends, one at a time. Make sure not to break it, and just make sure that it's seated all the way in and locked in. And then we're moving on to the page number 13, part number 55 and 56 in step number 3. 55 on the bottom right, and 56 also. So with the little tab that is sticking out, this little fork's gonna go right into this little opening, and there are little holes in there, so you need to make sure that this little guy is gonna go towards the top. Need to kind of push it in a little bit in there. Until it snaps all the way in. And then part number 56, we're gonna push it over the top to lock it in. If it gives you a little bit hard time to lock it or push it in, put a little bit of wax. It'll help you to get it on. All right, now let's see. We need to make sure that this is facing up. We'll do H2, insert it, wind it up 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Start. And this thing rotates and kind of speeds up a little bit. I will just stop it at that. Make sure it's facing down as we started, and then press stop to lock it in. All right, so it's facing down, it's stopped. Everything's working nice and smooth. Moving on to the page number 14. We're gonna turn the sub-assembly around, and step number 5, we need to put together, once again, part number 57 on the bottom, right at the center. Part number 47 to the right of it, 23 to the left of it, and 17 is a little bit below the middle on the left hand side. Wax number 17, 23, and obviously 57 all around. All right, and then similar fashion, R2 is going to be facing towards you and to the right. 2 is top left and 1 is bottom. 47 is going to go with the tab to the right. It's going to go into the hole towards that R2, push it in from the front. 17 is going to go on the back. And 23 is going to go from the front onto the fork. Now that's a C3. Now we take our sub-assembly that's going to go into this little hole with the, let's see, R, which we need to match the 2. So 2 is facing to the top left, and we need to actually, hold on, let's see, set it up kind of like diagonal view, going diagonally. Next we need part number 58, bottom left. Same thing, just wax it all around, all the little gears. And insert it over this little guy with 2 facing you and matching the tab here. So 2 matching, and then we're gonna insert part number 59 over bottom right on board number 2. And similar scenario, we need 2 UGears is facing you, so it's going to need to go over this little X. Going to need to go over onto the tabs, one at a time. Make sure all the holes are matching and carefully push it all around until it locks everywhere in. Nice and clean, all the way through, flush. And then part number 55 and 56. 55 is in the bottom right, and 56 bottom left. All right, now with the little tab facing to the right, with this little fork locking into the sub-assembly. So bottom right it's facing in my case, as far as it can go until it's almost, or until it's flush, supposed to be flush. Just like this, and then 56 over it, locking it in. Just like that. Moving on to the page number 15. Step number 1. So this is going down, 2s are matching. Let's see, H2, wind it up, stop, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Run it. Little hesitation, but eventually all the way through. Then run it a few times. Make sure that it's nice and smooth operation. And one more time, just to be on the safe side. All right, so it's nice and smooth all around. Now we need to make sure that we adjust it to where it's supposed to be. So let's make sure that our numbers are matching now. All right, so let's unwind it. This one's sitting diagonally. That's the right side if the head is on the front right here. So I'm gonna stop it right at this location. That's where it's pointing. Make sure, well, you can't really see underneath, but the two's supposed to match if you installed it correctly. And then you flip it around. This needs to face down, so the threes are matching inside. You can't really see it, but this should be down as this kind of facing diagonally towards the top left. So that's the positions that are these guys supposed to be in. And we're moving on to the page number 16. All right, we're on page number 16, step number 1, top left corner. We got parts number 62, two of them, 61 and 60. All of them are on board number 1. So let me take number 1. We need part number 61, bottom left corner. That's that long piece, or there's one right here, right at the top. So let's start with that one because that's the one that shows on the little cutout picture right here. So 61, two 62s. There's 4 of them in top left corner here, little section. So 1, 2 that we need, and then part number 60, top right corner. So all these somewhat fragile part, except probably 62s. So we'll just be careful with that. All right, so we need to send inside the part number 60. We need to send a little bit that little tab that is sticking out. And then we do need 2 wax on the inside. The little tab. Part number 62s, both of them. They're connection points, so I would send them 2 a little bit, just to make sure. At least the connection points on both of these before waxing them. So they're nice and smooth. Let's see, so we wax it all around. Both of these. And we need 2 wax on the inside of part number 61. So inside of these little circles, holes, and let's see, we put part number D1 through with this little tab, the long tab on one side, and then lock it up with part number 62 on both ends. 1 and 2. Well, the second one is not locking out, but just to keep it together. All right, and that's our D1. We're gonna put it on the side. Next one is D2. That's step number 1 on the right hand side at the top of the page. Once again, we need parts number 62, 2 of them. They're in the same top right corner. Part number 65, that's all the way at the top here at the edge. Let's see, part number 63, it's in the top right corner here, within a little rectangle. And then part number 64, that's one in the middle on the left hand side. And then this one's got a little rectangular opening and round opening. So rectangular opening needs to be on the left side, and that's where all the parts gonna go to. And then round opening, we just need to wax inside of it somehow. Just try to get your little wax in there to apply. And then part number 62, same thing. I'm gonna wax it slightly, sand it slightly, just to remove the connection points that are visible. And then we're gonna wax it all around. And then we need to do the same thing with part number 65. So I'm gonna remove the connection points just to give it a nice smooth surface, and then just wax it all around. And then the part number 63 is gonna go with the long stem. It's gonna go through part number 64. And then we're gonna lock it up with part number 62 on one side. And then 65 is gonna go on the opposite end, on the longer end. And lock it up with 62 at the top. That's our D2, put it on the side. Next, step number 1 on the bottom left is parts number 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, and 69. They're all should be on board number 1. So let's see, first we do these 3 on the bottom, 60, top left corner, 66, 68, and 70. And then 67 is going to be top right. And then 269 is right above it, top right corner. All right, so 67 with the little, there's like a little straight piece, and then with the step, so the step towards the top, we're going to insert the 67 right into that little rectangular hole that is horizontal. Then 69, same thing with a step up, rectangular hole right at the center. Just like this. And then another one, same thing with a step up. And then this little long tab is going to be towards the flat surface, right? Just like this. Now we need to, in step number 2, we need to put parts number 71, 70, and 272s. So 71 is the top left corner here. And 72s are right below it in the top left corner. And we do need to wax these round tabs that are there. So they're gonna go within itself or within each other. And they're gonna be moving components, so it does need a little bit of lubrication. So this is gonna go over, then over 67. The next one's gonna go over 69. And then the other one's over 69, connecting them together. And if you press them far enough, they will interlock with each other. And then in step number 3, we need the part number D2 that we just assembled with that double washer towards the top. That's going to go into the hole here. And then we're going to lock it up here with part number 73. And part number 73 in the top right corner, there are 2 of them, so we need both of them. So I might as well just take them out. And the long tab's going to go into the hole. So through this part and into the hole, and they should be in the horizontal direction at this point of time. Line it up with the hole, press it in, and just make sure it locks and is flat. And then the part number D1 that we assembled earlier, that's going to go on the opposite end with this little tab towards the left side. It should be at the top. And so it's the same thing. It's going to go into the hole. And then with part number 73 locked in place on one of the ends. If they fall out, you can just fix them back in. And then on top, in step number 4, we put parts number 70, 68, and 66. They're right top left corner, 70, 68, and 66. Just gonna turn them around to have them similar to the ones that we put on the bottom, in the same direction. So let's see, we're gonna need to install all 3 of them. So over the little tabs, make sure you line up the little washers on both sides. Push them in. This one we need to line up the part number 73 also, so it locks properly. And that looks like nice and clean. just like that. Moving on to the page number 70. Step number 5, top left corner. From board number 1, we need parts number 76. They're right above the middle to the right and left of the center line. 75 and 74. So 74 is going to go on a larger piece on the left hand side, and make sure it's angled up to the left. So 74, then 75, same thing, angled up to the left, and then 76 all the way at the end. And then step number 6, we need to insert part number 80 and 81. They're top right corner. 81 is all the way at the end edge, and then 80 is right before that. Make sure you wax the forks a little bit, because that's the parts that are gonna go into the hole. Let's see, so part number 80 is the first one to install, so you move it in and up it on the whatever part number, what is it, 72 that we installed on there. And then 81 is going to go right into the slot there. Lock it in so it doesn't come out. And that arch is towards the top. Kind of like the inner arch is towards the top, so it creates kind of like nice little step down on the all the 74, 75, 76, and 81 parts. So that should be rotating. And then let's see, and then from the below, I forgot to, we need to install 78, 77, 78, and 79. So they're also right at the center, to the right and to the left. Need to install it from the bottom, so 77, and that's same way, so arch towards the left hand side. Just flip the part upside down and install these parts. All right, and then here in step number 7, it just shows you that they need to be kind of like almost flush. And then we install part number 82, which is the top right corner of board number 1. From the bottom here, kind of connecting the two parts together from bottom and into the top. Just like this, so it goes through both parts, and then step D on the right, or the part D, it just shows you that these need to move to the right and left. So should have that motion that we see right here, and that's our end of page number 17. Moving on to the page number 18, and we need to combine the C and D that we just assembled. So let's see, the start is going to be to the left, this little model, and let's see, we need to move this towards the inside. There's 2 tabs on this little part that we installed 82 on both sides, so they need to go into these holes from inside. So we need to split it up a little bit, insert the part and squeeze it in, locking it in. And make sure once you line up the holes, lock these parts in with the tail, that little sloping down to the left. So make sure you insert it the correct way. And then this little part that we have here, we need to lock it with part number 83, which is right on board number 2, top right corner here. So I'll put a little bit of wax on the tabs, and then I'm gonna put it over, locking this little tab in. Doesn't matter which way you put it in there, as long as this little tab stays within the part number 83. All right, so everything is locked. These guys are locked. Everything is nice and flush. Moving on to the page number 19, and now we need to install part, actually step number 2, we need to create a little sub-assembly of part number 84. That's on board number 2 left, a little bit below the center line. And then parts number 85, bottom left. Let me make sure we're still recording. We're good. Let's see. And then part number 86 needs to be installed from the bottom. That will finish up our board number 2. Because there's a spare. We're good on those. Same thing with board number 1. We only have spares on here. So 64, 61. 37, 73, and 63, and number 3. And there's a couple little washers on here. So we're good with number 1 also. So both of those are out. And let's see, 84, step number 2, we need part number 85 into 84. They go into these little slots on the left and right hand side. Once you insert those, we're going to take our sub-assembly, and that's going to go into this little 2 slots that are on the left and right side, and right by the stop button here, close to stop button. And then 86, excuse me, I'm going to go into the slots right below that, a little bit diagonally. Same thing, as far as you can push it in, and it just sits in there for now. And that's our sub-assembly E. Moving on to the page number 20, need more gears. Or gear sub-assemblies. Let's clean up the desk a little bit here. Step number 1 in the top left corner, we need board number 3, parts number 17, 87, 88, and 89. And part number, let's see, 17, that's going to be right at the center here on the bottom. So we need 1. Then we need 87. That's going to be a little bit to the left, bottom left. 87, 88, right below it, bottom left. And then part number 89, that one should be towards, let's see, towards the top right, kind of like in the middle of the quadrant. So we do need to wax that part number 89, all the gear teeth. And then part number 17, all around. All right, so let's see. So 88 is going to go into this little fork of part number 87, just like this. And then the part number 87 with, let's see, there's a slot. So the slot, the little thinner portion should be towards the bottom. The R4 should be to the left, and 3 to the right bottom. And then we put that part number 87 into the slot, and then lock it up with the 17 on the other end. And then in step number 2, we need to insert part gear number 90 and lock it up with washer number 23. So 90 is going to be in the top right corner, and washer 23 is also top right. So washer 23 obviously waxed. It's got a little dips in there for the connection point, so we're good to go on that. And then make sure you wax or remove all the burrs that you see on there, because this will prevent from smooth moving. And then we just wax every single tooth of the little gear. All right, and then we take our little sub-assembly. There is a R on the gear, and that so if you look at, there's number 3, and then R should be like number 3. If you look at the gear, that's going to be roughly at, I want to say 4 o'clock or so, and then R would be at about like 1:30, 2 o'clock or so. And so you insert this little gear in there with R facing to the 2 o'clock position, or 1:30 or so, and then lock it up with 23. And we're gonna put it aside. That's F1. The step number 1 at the top right is we need parts number 91, 92, and 93. So 91 bottom left, 92 is right below it, 93 is right at the center top. And then 93, we do need to, once again, same thing. It's a gear. Make sure all the burrs are gone. And we need to wax every single tooth. All around. And then once you go through that, part number 92 is going to go from the back, or I guess it doesn't matter at this point of time as you insert it, and then 91 into it, combining it together. And then step number 2, we need 2 parts 23, top right corner. There's a bunch of them there. We're gonna need to wax it all around. And lock those parts in. From the top and from the bottom. And that's going to be our F2. Now we're going to put it right next to F1. Next step, bottom left, step number 1, we need parts number 94, 95, 96, and 17. Let's see, 94, 95. They're going to be a little bit above the middle on the left hand side here. 94, 95, part number 17, bottom, center. And part number 96, and the part number 96 right at the center line at the top. Let's see, 96 needs to be waxed all around. And then also part number 17. Let's see, 94, 95. So 95 is the longer fork, 94 is the shorter. Then we're gonna go through 96 with the shorter end. Make sure it's all the way in, and then lock it up with a 17 on the other side. Then we need step number 2, we need part number 97, which is going to be a little bit above the middle on the right hand side, and part number 23 right above it. Obviously 23 is going to need to get waxed. And then gear every single tooth. I'm gonna use a new wax stick. And then here we need to put R also in about 2 o'clock position. So if we're looking at this part number 96 with the sub-assembly should be on the bottom, and then the R should be about roughly at 2 o'clock position as you insert this little gear in there. and then it needs to go as far as it can, and then lock it up with the 23. And that's our F3. I'm gonna put it on the side. And then step number 1 on the right bottom. We need parts number 23, 2 of them. They're to the right of the center line at the top. Part number 91, 90. Let's see, 91 is going to be at the bottom here, bottom left. And the gear number 90, top left. All right, so let's wax the gear once again. I see some burrs on there, little fibers, so I'm gonna remove those with my helping tool. And then 90 is gonna go from the back. And then 23s, need to wax them. And let's see, so when we put, okay, so there's exclamation point on there, so we need to make sure, put R facing you, and it should be at about 7 o'clock position. 91 is going to go from the back horizontal. Just like this. And then 23 in the back. And 23 at the front. Like in that fork in. Alrighty, and then we're moving on to the page number 21 where we install all these gears. So we take our subassembly E, and then step number 1, we need to install gears number F1. That's the one with the little weird gear there. And then you need to make sure that little 3 is matching the 3 on this gear that is already installed. So let's see, the 3, and 3, hold on, R, little gear 3, little gear 2 is gonna go into the hole. There you go. And then F2. And then F2, there's 2 little tabs. Make sure they're like at 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock position. So the first 2, the one that at 2 o'clock position, they're gonna match with the 2 with the little slot that is on the gear that we just installed on F1. Then F3, that's the one without the hole. There is a little gear R and little dash R and dash. So the little dash, that's gonna go into the hole right here where the little tail piece is coming in, and then the little dash needs to be in between the 2 dashes of the gear F or subassembly F2. And then the last gear F4 with the hole going in about let's see, 11 to 5 o'clock position or so. There's 2 little dashes or dots. They're gonna go over the dot on gear F3 just to match the teeth. And this little dash should be pointing to about 1 o'clock position. All right, so our 4 gears are in, and now we need to lock it up with part number 98 in step number 2. 98 is the top right corner. And we're gonna insert that first. That's gonna go over this little guy, and then locking all the gears in. make sure you line them up. And it should get on the tab here on the bottom, and then through this little X all the way to the end. So push it hard towards the inside, and then next step, part number 23 is gonna go into the hole here, top right, a little bit to the right of the center line. Make sure you wax it because it's gonna go into the hole, although it doesn't show. We want to make sure that it is, and it doesn't matter the directionality, so it's going to go over this little X on here. And then part number 99, and it's at the top right corner. There's a little dot, so the dot should be facing, let's see, towards the top to 11 o'clock or position. So it's going to go through this little hole all the way down as far as it can go, locking it in, so your little tab sticking out towards the bottom, kind of like a 5 o'clock position or so. That's our page number 21. Moving on to the page number 22. Make sure that we're still running and we're good as far as the recording, and now we need to make sure all these gears are moving and then everything is operating the way it needs to be. So as always, stop is pressed. We need to wind it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let it go, and let's help it out a little bit. We need to do it like a few times to make sure that it unwinds completely. And then once again, don't forget your tail's already connected, so you need to make sure that you're not holding it down as you unwinding the mechanism. If you had it working nice and good originally, you should have a little bit of issues, but not that much. Unwind it as far as you can and do it about 5 times total to make sure it unwinds on its own, so you don't have to do that or help it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A little hesitation still. But it unwinds good. 3 more times just to be on the safe side. Two. And 1 more. 3. So as you can see, it unwinds on its own. I don't need to help it anymore, so all the gears are working the way they're supposed to be working. Now we get it unwound, and then we just need to stop it to make sure this little tab back in the 5 o'clock position. Here we go, and lock it in so it's about 5 o'clock or so. Alright, that's our F5. Moving on to the page number 23. We need to assemble more gears for the other end. Let's clean this up a little bit. And step number 1 at the top left on page number 23, need parts number 88, 87, 100, and 17. So 17 is at the bottom center, 88 and 87 bottom right. Got all this 106 out accidentally. And then we need part number 100. 100 is going to be at the, let's see where it's at, top left. Once again, this is a weird gear. We need to make sure that all the teeth are waxed. Because if they're not, it will prevent from moving. So as you can see, it only took about 5 tries to get it running nice and smooth all the way through. Excuse me. Part number 17, a little wax on it. And a similar scenario, so 88 is going to go into the 87 with the longer tab towards the thicker portion of the part. L2 is facing down, 2 is to the left. And then 17, lock it up on the back. And then step number 2, we need parts number 101. That's right at the center, almost at the top there, and part number 23 to the right bottom of it. 23 needs to be waxed, and same as part number 101. Remove all these extra pieces that are sticking out there. And let's see, so we're gonna take our sub-assembly. L2 is facing down, 2 is to the left, and then L on the gear should be facing at about 10 o'clock or so. So we're gonna insert it over, and then part number 23, lock it up. All right, step number 1 at the top to the right. We need parts number 92, 91. Bottom right, 92, 91, and 23, top left. 23 needs to be waxed. We're kind of repeating the same thing we did for the right side. Now it's the left side, so 92, 91. 92 is the longer, 91 is the longer tab. Then with the shorter X, we're gonna insert it over 23. Like it, and then step number 2, we need part number 93, which is right at the top there, and another 23 bottom, top left. So once again, 23 needs to be waxed all around, and then part number 93 cleaned out. And same thing, every single tooth needs to be waxed. You don't really have to, but for the smoother operation you want to. So otherwise you're going to be struggling with operation for a while until it gets nice and smooth. Let's see, 93, 91, 92 gets inserted into 93, and then lock it up with an 23. That's our F7. Bottom left, step number 1, we need parts number 102, 103, and 17. 17 is right at the center there. 102 and 103 is a little bit above the middle on the right hand side. 17 needs to be waxed. Alrighty, and then step number 2, we need part number 104 and 23. 104 is going to be center left, middle left. 23 a little bit to the left of the center line at the top. Make sure no burrs, edges and stuff. Nice good wax all around on every single tooth. And then sub-assembly from the back. And then 23 from the top. Alright, that's our F8. And then step number 1, to the bottom right, we need 2 parts number 23, top left, part number 91, bottom right, and then part number 101 right at the center, above the middle slightly. Get it cleaned off. Get wax on every single tooth. All around, 91 from the back, and then make sure that L is at let's see, 10 o'clock position, and then your number 91 should be horizontal. Same as before. Lock it in, and that's our F9. Let's see, make sure we are recording. We're good. Part number, move on to the page number 24. Turn the Dino the other way, facing to the left. And now same thing, we're gonna start with our weird shape gear. And let's see, there's a 2, which is right to the left of L. It needs to match the 2 that is on here, so we might want to rotate this a little bit, because I want to make sure that the gears get let's see, another rotation, full. Where's our 2? So it's easier to install. Just make sure that gear, this one needs to face down, as we remember from before, right? Maybe a little bit towards the body. Wind it up a little bit. Two, I see the 2. So my 2 comes out a little bit to the bottom here, but I need to match with this gear that is facing towards the bottom exactly. Which is fine. Now this little one's matching up with F7, that would be 2 gears these two dashes matching with this one dash. And then the smaller gear, that's going to be the third one. That's going to go into the hole on the right. Same thing, this little dash needs to match with the two dashes there. So because they're these facing down a little bit, so this one's facing down. So if you rotate it, it will match up. And then the last gear, the one that is open, there's two dots, they need to match this little dot that is in on the gear or subassembly F8. Just like this. And then same as before, we just need to lock it up with part number 98, top left corner of board number 3. And same thing, match up all the gears there, match up all the holes, start lining them up, and as you're lining them up, press it in just to make sure that it locks in and keeps everything together. Everything is in all the way, locked, nice and good. Then part number 23, top left, we're gonna wax it around and insert it over this X right here, top left corner, all the way. And one last step, part number 99 on top left corner of, or a little bit to the left of the center line on board number 3. Let's see, with the little dot towards the top, that would be facing right around, no, towards the bottom, sorry. The dot should be towards the bottom, about 5 o'clock position. So almost opposite of this, except on the same side of the clock. And then we need to insert it as far as it can go. And we're good to go with step number 2. Moving on to the page number 25. And let's see, we need to try it out. Put it into stop, it is into stop. Let's wind it up 10 times. And let it run. A little hesitation. As before, need to help it. By pushing a couple gears until it clears itself up. And unwinds completely. All right, and do it 4 more times, so 5 total. And then to make sure that everything is installed correctly, you just need to watch these 2 little arms that we just installed, 99s. So when one drops down, the other one needs to go up. So they're like one, then the other, one, then the other. That's number 3. Number 4. And number 5. All right, moving on to the page number 26. Step number 1 on the left. Let's see, we're assembling the legs now. Step number 1 on the left, board number 3, parts number 106, 4 of them. We had bottom left, I guess. We had 1 pulled out, but we're gonna stick to 1 for now. We need 4 for now to start with for G1. They do need to be waxed. We need 2 parts 105 on the left hand side. And part number 107. That's right to the left of the center line. Alright, so all 106s need to be waxed. Let's see, so 105 is going to go into 106, into 2 of them. Then they're going to go into 107, so the large circle is going to be away from you, and this little opening, the rectangular towards you, it's going to go through that opening and the one on the right, and then we lock it up with those 106s on the other side. And that's our G1. Put it on the side. Step number 1 on the bottom of that, we need 2 more part number 106. Obviously waxed. And then part number 105 and 108. So 108 is bottom left, and 105, let's see, 105 is this little set that we had before. Carefully pull 1 out and put 1 on the side because we're gonna need it later. So once again, same thing, through 106, through the little rectangular opening there, and 106 on the top. And that's our G2. Step number 1, somewhere like in the center here, we need parts number 105, that's the one that we had out, 110, that's right in the middle on the left hand side, 111 right below it, a little bit to the left of the center line, and then 109 to the left of the center line, right below the middle. We need to wax these little tiny holes that are inside on both of 111 and 109. 109 curving away to the right. From the top we put part number 110 into these little 2 holes, and then I'm going to use the helping tool just to get it in. And then 111 with a hole, round hole towards you, and then 105 is going to go into the hole that is away from you, also curving away. Next, step number 2, we need 2 parts number 113. They're right at the center here. And wax the longer tab slightly. Or maybe both of those sides. And then we need part number 112, which is bottom left. So 112 with the tab, with the slot to the left. 113 is going to go through the hole here and into the opening. And then same thing with 111 through the round hole and into the other opening of part number 112. Once we get those, we're moving on to the step number 3. G2 is going to go curving to the right, top right, it's gonna go in the bottom hole, and then G1 with the hole, same thing, curving to the right towards the top. That's gonna go into the other hole and over, let's see, over this little tab right here. Into the hole and over the tab. Part number 105 right here. And then we need two more, 109 and 111. They're to the right of the center, right in the middle and a little bit below. And once again, curving away from you, we're gonna do the part number 109 first. Locking it all in, and then 111 second. Step number 4, need part number 112, bottom left. Same thing, make sure you match the tabs. And we're gonna go on the bottom here onto the part number 113. Locking it in. A little bit of a movement here. And then let's see, step number 5, we need part number 114. That's a little below the middle on the left here. Part number 105. There's one spare, so we're gonna put it on this side just in case. And then 110 is top at the middle on the left. Let's see, so 2 holes gonna be on the left top. We're gonna insert 110 in there and use my helping tool to insert it completely. 105 is gonna go into the hole that is at the bottom. And then 37, part number 37 is at the top left. We're gonna wax it up. That's gonna go over part number 105. Moving on to the page number 27, our sub-assembly. We're gonna take it over, and let's see, the little part number 37 that we just installed is gonna go in a hole on the left hand side. Then this one's gonna go into the hole of part number 114, and then we need another 114 that's at the little below the middle on the left hand side. Make sure you match the one on the bottom. That one's gonna lock the sub-assembly in. And that's our part number G4. With a little bit of a movement here. And we need to build the second one. So this was the first, and one more. Same thing. All right, let's do step number 1 on page, we're back on page number 26. We need parts number 106, we got them here. 107, that's to the right of the center line. And then 105 is there on the right hand side. Bottom right. Same thing, 106s, let's pull them out and wax them. One oh five goes into 106. Then they're gonna go from the bottom of part number 107 and lock it up on the other end. That's G1. G2, we need part number 106, 2 of them. One more 105, I already have it taken out. And part number 108. To the right of the center line at the top there. Similar thing. Lock it up, and that's our G2. Step number 1 at the center of page number 26, we need part number 111 and 109, top right, a little bit above this middle on the right hand side. Another 105. And 110, it's in the middle to the right. All right, same thing. Insert 110 first. Lock it in. Wrong side. From the other end, make sure it curves away from you. Same thing with 111. And then wax the little tiny holes in there, if you can get the wax inside there. Next step is part number 113. There's one to the left of the center line, one to the right. And part number 112 on the right hand side, but closer to the bottom. Let's see, 113 waxed. They're gonna go through the holes into part number 112. Once again, tab is to the left. The tab with the slot. The next step, we do G2 into the bottom hole, curving to the right, and then G1 is going to be in the top hole, locking one of the tabs in, also curving to the right. And then 109 and 111, locking it in. 109 top left, 111 bottom left, a little to the left of the center line. Similar way. Lock those in. 1 and 2. And then step number 4, we're gonna lock it all at the top there with 112 on the right hand side. Now make sure the tab is matching once again. And give it a little bit of a movement just to make sure there is some. Next, step number 5, we need part number 114. That's to the right, a little bit below the middle. Part number 110 is right above it, and then one more 105. And then part number 37. 37 is going to be one of the top right, top left, a little bit above the middle there. And don't forget to wax part number 37. Alrighty, so let's see, with the 2 holes to the left, 110 is gonna go into those holes from the top, and then 105 is gonna go into the bottom hole, and then 37 over 105. Moving on to the page number 27, bring back our sub-assembly. Once again, the little hole, let's see, this little thing's gonna go through the hole here. And then this part number 106 gonna go into the other hole. And then we lock it up with another 114 on the right hand side, a little bit below the middle. Just match it up. And that's our number 2, G4. All right, and now step number 1 in the middle of page number 27. We need part number 115. They're a little bit below the middle on the left and the right hand side. And then for G5, we're gonna have, with this little hole, the single hole curving to the right, we're gonna have a little, there's a little tab on 115. It's gonna be down, and we insert it into part number 112, I think. And that's gonna be our G5. We're gonna put it on the left hand side, and then with the thing up with the little tab, that's gonna be our G6, and we're gonna put it on the right hand side, just to make sure that we have them separated. And once again, make sure the movement is there, so you need to have them move like this without any hesitation. That's the G6, and same thing with the G5. Full motion. All right, moving on to the page number 28. And let's see, G5, we're gonna install it onto this little guy and this tab. So we need to wax this little X just to make sure that it goes over nice and clean. There's nothing in between. Part number 37, that's in the top right there. Wax it up. That's gonna go through this little tiny hole onto the tab. Line it up and push it all the way in. Lock it up with part number 116. It's to the right of the center line at the top there, or bottom, sorry. And then we're gonna go lock this top portion with part number 23, top left. Now we need to make sure it runs. So we're gonna go ahead and wind it up, put it on stop. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and let it run. Help it out a little bit. And let's make sure we test it out to make sure it runs and unwinds completely. So we're gonna do a few runs here before we install on the other side. Nice, clean, and smooth motion. All right, lock it up. Then we turn it around and we do the same thing on the other side. We're gonna put a little bit of wax on this little X. Insert it over part number 37, top right. Wax it up. We're on page number 29, by the way. Get that part over into the hole. Lock it up with part number 116. And then part number 23. Just gonna go ahead and lock the other part of the foot. And once again, the same thing. Stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Run. One more, or a couple more, just to make sure it runs nice and clean. And moving on to the page number 30. Let's see, one more time. It's crawling, almost. Let me do one more time. And one more, just to make sure we remove all the hesitation from there. All right, and that's our G. Okay, we're on page number 30, continue our build. Let's see, step number 1 on the left. We need parts number 106, 118 twice, both, and 117. So we're now on board number 4. And let's see, 106, that'll be right in the middle. So we're gonna pull one of the rectangles out. 118 gonna be top to the left and right of the center line. And then 117, let's see, it's on the bottom, left to the left and to the right of the center line. So we just need 1 for now. And let's see, 106, just need 2. As always, we make sure that 106 are waxed all around. And now we need to join these two guys. So we're gonna push our 117 through, make sure both of these parts, 118, are in the same orientation, and then lock it with 106 on both sides. I'm gonna have a little H1 here. Then I guess we're gonna have to make 2 of these again. So I'm gonna repeat the same steps for another set. So once again, we need 118. They're a little bit below the middle here on the left and right hand side. Another 117 and 2 106s. So I'm just repeating, and I'm gonna put it on the left side or right side. So we're gonna have 2 at the end, as we also need 2 legs just like before. All right, so that's 2 1/16. They're going in the same orientation. The arch at this point of time doesn't matter which way it is, so just as long as you join these guys together. All right, then step number 1 to the second step number 1 to the right of that. For H2, we need 4 106s. So I already have 2. And I'm gonna get another set on the bottom here, right at the center, on board number 4. 2 more. Put it aside. We need 2 1/17 this time. So let's see, 1, 2, 1/17, and then part 119. So 119 are at the top here to the right and left. That's the first set. And once again, we're just waxing 106 all around. We need 4 of these, so we need to wax all 4. And in a similar fashion, we just need to join these 2 parts together with 117 and then 106 on each side to lock it in. All right, and that's going to be our H2. We're going to put it on the side and make another set. 119s are to the left and right of the center line, and right below the middle there. We need another set of 117s, bottom left, and 4 more 106. Don't forget to wax 106 all around. Two, 3, and 4. And same thing, just join these 2 together, push the 117 through, and do 106 on one side and 106 on the other side to join these 2 together. And that's another H2. Step number 1, the third one on the page right at the center. Let's see, we need part number 120. So I'll pull 2 of them right away. 120 on the right and left on the bottom there. Or top, whichever. Then part number 121, they're right at the center here, 2 of them. 1 and 2. Part number 117, we're gonna have the ones on the right hand side now. 2 of them, 1 and 2. And then parts number 37, 2. So we have them at the center line here, right at the top above the middle. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now 37 need to be waxed again. Or all the washers, all the round pieces, most of the round pieces need to be waxed, especially if they're going to be within another part, just for the ease of movement. And let's see, we're gonna flip this upside down, so this little nice wave's gonna be to the left and above, and we're gonna put part number 121 in that double hole on the right, and then a single 117, and then 237 is gonna go on the 117, 1 and 2. And we're gonna put it on the side. That's our H3, and we're doing the same thing for the other one. Same thing, the little wave to the left and top. 121 goes into the double hole, 117 goes into the single hole, and 237s are over the 117. Put it on the left and right, whichever way you're doing. Then we are on step number 1 all the way to the right. We need parts number 125, which is going to be, let's see where it's at top right. Then 122, that's also top right. 123, a little to the right of the center line on the top. 117, let's use the ones on the bottom right here. We just need one. I'll put one on the side, since most of the time both of them come out. And then 124, two of them are at the top right at the center line here to the right and left. And then we do need wax on 117 and on the 124s. And now let's see, we're gonna do 125 with the tab to the right, that little tab with the cut. Let's see, 124 is gonna go through this part number 114, that circular portion, and into the let's see, the hole on the left. Then another 124 is going to go through the circular portion of 123. Make sure it's curved to the left, and then it's going to go into the second hole on the right. Then we need to put the part number, oh, I forgot 121. 121 is going to be right at the center at the top here. That one's going to go into part 122. I should have inserted it first, but it's easy to come in. And then 117 is going to go into the part number 123 at the top there. All right, and then now we take the sub-assembly, we take our H1, that's the single part, and then one's going to go into the top left hole with the part number 117 in there. And then H2 is going to go with the hole into the part 117 that is sticking out, and then the 117 is going to go right into the opening there into the hole, just like this. And step number 3, we need part number 125. Let's see, top left, and 120, top right or top left, to lock this in. Ooh, I do need, back to step number 2, I do need part number 123 and 122. So top right, the little to the right of the center line, both of those parts. So we need to join these together. Same way. And make sure they're lined up in the same orientation, and then you should have no problem of putting these guys on. All right, and then back to step 3. Let's see, part 125, same orientation as the one on the bottom. Lock it over 123s, and then 120. This guy's gonna go from the bottom. So let's see. this little 117 is going to go into this hole, sticking out a little bit, and then this set of the little openings, holes, going to go over the part number 37, just like this, and then we'll lock it up with 120, same orientation as the one on the bottom. And then we just need to make sure the movement is there, work it in a little bit, and that's part H4, number 1. And let's complete the number 2. We're in the step 1 on the all the way on the right. So we need part number 125, a little above the middle on the right hand side. Part number 122, there's one going to be on the left. A little top left, part number 121, right at the center. 123, a little bit to the left of the center line at the top left. Part number 117 on the bottom there. I don't know, I had one, no, I guess. There should be more somewhere. Let's see, part number 124. There's one to the left and to the right of the center line. Yeah, 117. We do have some spares, so we're good on that. That's extra 106. All right, so similar thing. Let's do it curves to the left. We're gonna put 121 into this double hole from the top into part number 122. We're gonna wax 124, both of those. Let me make sure we're still recording. We're good. And then 117 also needs to be waxed. 117 is gonna go into 123. 124 is going to go through the holes of part number 122 and through part number 123 on the right. 122 on the left, 123 on the right. And then we need our H1 and H2. H1 is going to go in the left hole, curving to the right. H2 is going to go in the second hole on the right, curving to the right. And over this part number 117. And then we're gonna lock those up with another set of 122 and 123. Top left, both of those on board number 4. And just make sure it's the same orientation as the one on the bottom. Locking those in. Moving on to the page number 31 and our last piece. Once again, same here. We're gonna go over this little part number 37 and into the hole and lock it up with 120 top left, and then 125, that's a little bit to the left of the center line, right above the middle. And so 120, same orientation as the other one. Lock it in, and then 125 I did completely opposite, so I need just to flip it. Wrong hole. Lock it in, and then just make sure there is a movement. Work it in a little bit on H4. That's the second one. Step number 1 on page number 31 to the right. Once again, same thing. We need part number 126, two of them. They're at the top right and left, right at the edge there. So the one on H5, on the little hand or I guess finger or whatever, pointer, claw, that's gonna go towards the top. That's gonna be our H5. As this curves away, and that's H5 on the left, and the same thing for the H6 now, except that claw is going to go down, so just the opposite direction, and that's going to be our H6. And then once again the movement is there. All right, moving on to the page number 32. Now we take our dino. We're gonna do the left side first, so the tail is gonna go to the left. We need part number 127. Well, first we need to wax this little long X-shape axle. We need part number that's gonna go onto here, 127 and 237. So 237s right at the center there. And 127 is to the top right. I need to wax the 37s. So 127 is gonna go first on this little long tab axle on the left, and 37 is gonna go right over it. And then as we put H5, it's gonna go these double hole, gonna turn it around, double hole is gonna go onto this long one, and the other hole is going to go over the ones over the 37s. Now we need to lock this one with 116 and this one with 123. I mean with the 23. So 23 a little bit to the right of the center line. I mean there's a couple of them here, and then 116. 116 is going to be to the left here. Well, to the left and right. They're a little bit below the middle. So lock it up, and then 120 or 23 is gonna go over this little guy, locking it in, and then we're gonna flip it around and do the same thing on the other side. So we just need to wax this little guy, the little X-shape axle. Then we need part number 127 to the right. There's a few of them, there's a couple spares, so whichever one you grab, that doesn't matter. 237s. I guess I'm grabbing the spare ones, but there are plenty of them all around. There's two on the bottom here, right at the center line, so got enough for the whole build, plus more little extras in there. And then we put the leg over, same way as before. And lock it up with 116 and 23. 116 to the right and 23 also to the right, bottom there. And now we have our headless dino. That we can wind up. All right, same thing. Need to work it in, make sure that everything is operational. And all the parts move through. unwind it completely. And do it a few more times just to make sure the operation is there and Dino is moving. Little hesitation. As you can see, the tail is moving, the legs are moving, so he's moving all everywhere. Unwind, rewind. And then if your winding mechanism is covered on one side, use the other side to wind it up. Here we go. Usually the lizards are tailless. This guy is headless. Come on, move. You need to run a few more times just to make sure the movement is there. And he advances further. A little bit more movement. Just need to work him in a little bit. Still a little bit of hesitation. Let it work in. Work itself in. And here he goes. Away. So we need to run it 2 more times, and I'll leave it until the end just to test it out and get it running all the way once we're done with the assembly. So in the meantime, we're going to continue. Moving on to the page number 33. And now we need parts number 128 and 129. Step number 1 at the top there. They're on board number 5. Let's see, board number 5, 128, that's right to the right of the center line, and 129, where's 129? Right at the center at the top there. So we just need to put 129 and into 128, all the way in. Then 2 parts number 130, they're on the bottom at the center and a little bit to the right. So make sure that little mountain or extension is to the right as you enter from the top. and it's our I1. And then step 1 at the top to the right, we need part number 131, which is the, let's see, large piece in the middle. Part number 133, there's one to the right, top. That one's gonna go through the hole opening here, the rectangular hole, and should stay inside there. Part number 132 on the bottom left, and 2/17. One is on the bottom right, and one is at the top right. So let's see, 132 is going to go through this rectangular hole at the extension all the way through, and then 17's gonna lock on the other side. Step number 3 on the bottom left, we need part number 134. That's still from number 2. 134 top right. So this one's gonna go into this little opening with a smaller, like a little, I guess, U shape to the right in, and then we need to kind of like rotate it and set it towards the back, just like this. So there's 2 openings on right and left. I'm gonna put it on the side for a second, or actually step number 4, we need part number, the little sub-assembly that we just did. It's gonna go into this opening hole right here, kind of slide it in, and then 235s to lock these in. 135 top right and bottom right. The hole's gonna go towards the right side. And it's gonna snap over this little tab. Wrong way. I'm gonna put this part on first. And it needs to slide all the way to the, okay, it needs to slide into that little part 134. There's like a slot, so it needs to slide into there and then onto this little tab 133. A little confusing, but we got it. Then I'm gonna insert that little piece back in and do the same thing from the other side. So slide it in into here, little over, and lock it onto the part. Okay, next step number 5. It's part number 136. That's the right in the middle to the right. That one's gonna go right into the opening and slide it in and towards the top. As far as it can go. That's our I2. Moving on to the page number 34. Step number 1 on the top left, part number 137, 138. 137 top left. 138 is going to be bottom right. 139 bottom right, a little bit to the right of the center line. Now we take this little sharp pointer to the right and curving down. 137 is going to go into this, 138 is going to go into the hole with a thinner portion from the back. And then 139 with the smaller opening is going to go onto 138 from the front, just like this. So it's going to be a little bit twisted away. Step number one, second step number one at the top, part 137, top left, 138 and 139 again, 138 bottom right, and then 139 right in the middle on the left hand side. So now this little sharp point facing to the left, and a similar thing with the thinner portion, thinner side of the tab into the hole into 137, and then 139 is gonna go over it. Just like this. So curving the opposite way. It's I4, step number one on the right. Now we take our I2, turn it around so this little point towards top and away. And I3, the first one, I'm gonna go on the right hand side. And let's see which holes. There's 3 holes, and so 3 tabs. 1, 2, 3. That's what we put on. 1, 2, and 3. Creating a nice skeleton there. And same thing on the right hand side. 1, turn it around and put the other I4 on the opposite end. Opposite side, I should say, not the end. Whoa. It's alive! No. Why can't I make it into this one? Should have put the part on first. There we go. All right. So that's our I5. Moving on to the step number one on the bottom there. We need part number 141 and 140. Bottom left is 141 and 140. There's 140, 140 is probably on board number 4. No. That's 141. I'm blind. 141, 140, 140. Yeah, that's right here. They're right in the middle. I am blind. So now the curvature 140 is going to curve towards you. And we need a little bit of a wax on here on a little fork as you insert the 140. Step number 1. Step number 2, also 140 and 141. The same board, except now 140 is facing the other direction and curving towards you. Just like this. And now we take our I5 and both of these is gonna go into this little opening with the curved surface down towards the bottom. Just like this. And then the mouth opens. And then step 4, we need part number 142. They're on board number 4 to the right and left. Actually, we have a few of them, so they're also available on board number 5. And these guys gonna go into the little slots and then a little extension. So you need kind of like wiggle them in. need to face up. So we need to wiggle them in, rotate them around so they face as far as you can push them in. And then step number 5, so these little tabs are facing up. On step 5, we need part number 143. 143 is going to be on board number 4, bottom right and bottom left. There's 4 holes, so the ones that are closer together, those are the ones that are going onto these little parts. Right side and left side. And that's a little I6. All right, step number 1 on the right hand side at the top. We need parts number 144 and 4 145s. Okay, 145s are on board number 4. To the left, there's 4 of them. And 144 on the bottom right and bottom left. Alrighty, and then 144. We're recording, we're good. 144, let's see. Same way, so little slots need to be on the outside. So there's a little dashes on the 145s. So as you join these two together, these dashes need to be on the outside. Or that's the one further away, and then the one that's closer, it's on the opposite side. So as you join them together, so in my case, dashes are on this side and this side for both left and right. And then step number 2, okay, we're gonna take this little sub-assembly, and then with the dashes on the, let's see, on the, they need to go towards the outside. So the longer extension, one's gonna go on the left, and one's gonna go on the right. So once I insert this guy, let's see, need to match it into the hole. So this going towards the back, and the longer piece is towards the back, and the dash is on the outside. So same thing on the other one, we just need to turn it around, match the holes, and make sure it sits completely all the way in, and the dashes are on the outside. And then step number 3, parts number 146 on the bottom right and left of board number 4. We're just gonna put it over this little guy with the holes that are closer to each other. At least they look closer. Nice little i7 sub-assembly. Moving on to the page number 36. A few more steps to put the head on. We need part number 147. We're back onto board number 5. And let's see, 147 bottom left two of them, and 142s. So there's a bunch of 142s on the same board. We need 4 of them. They're easy to find out because you've got barely any parts left. So similar thing, same way we're doing these little guys with the tabs facing up. So your little hooks are on the bottom and the tabs are facing up. And now these guys gonna go onto the edges again, with the thicker portion towards the inside and the sharp point outward. One side and then the other side. All right, and then the last step, number 3, we need 2 parts, number 148, they're bottom left of board number 5. And these guys gonna go onto this little sides with the thinner portion facing towards the outside, creating this little nice, I guess, umbrella or whatever it's called on the Triceratops. Little pressure to get this in. One side and then same thing on the other one. Little struggle putting it on. Almost there. Here you go. Probably the hardest piece out of the whole assembly. All right, and that's our head under the subassembly eye. All right, moving on to the page number 37. Then we need part number 149. This is bottom, top, a little below the middle on the right hand side. And we need to put our head on. Let's see. And There's that little piece. Let's see. So let's see. There's a little piece that is creates additional movement on here. So make sure this longer part is underneath it. So not over it as you insert it. Let's see, this part's gonna go in first. Now we're gonna go from the right side the way that they show it. So I'm gonna put this in a little bit. Then we're gonna slide the head in. Make sure that part 149 is gonna go through the hole, through the opening. And you can kind of push it through the opening in that little umbrella. Now we just need to line it up on the other end with the hole. A little tough, but just need to wiggle it around a little bit slightly. And then once you get it lined up, then we can push it in all the way. To lock it in. There we go. All in. And our dinosaur is ready. All right, let's grab the key. It's stopped. And let's go. All the components are moving, and this guy is running away as fast as he can. All right, so this completes our assembly. Just because we worked on our mechanism before we put the final component on, that's why the movement was pretty easy, almost right away. And this pretty much explains on how it moves. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave the comments below. Obviously, please subscribe and like our YouTube page. Don't forget to shop at UGears.us or UKidstoys.com. Those are my stores. And we usually have most of the stuff in stock and ship right away. We're located outside of Chicagoland area, or actually in Chicagoland area, right outside of Chicago. So the shipping is pretty quick, pretty much anywhere into the country. Once again, the website is UGears.us or UKidstoys.com. That's UKIDZTOYS.com. This was Dimitri with the assembly of Triceratops, and we'll see you guys with the next assembly.